Hello, hello, hello. Great, beautiful, blessed Monday afternoon. Trying to get some things together over here. Wait a minute. Are we together? Are we together? My laptop is going slow, maybe, possibly. Maybe y'all can see me perfectly fine, but things are moving really slow over here. Anyhow, if you've never been here before, hi. I'm Tenille. I help women who've been diagnosed with lupus or other chronic illness go from confused and discouraged to healed, hopeful, and in control of the medical narrative. I'm back. Yes, I'm back in my home, in my chair, in front of my wall, and I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for rocking with me over the past 2 weeks of travel and recuperation. Okay, things were thinging. I had things agwan. Okay, so if you saw all the random lives all over the place at the Martin Luther King thing, in my Airbnb, here and there and everywhere, I appreciate you. And if you've been rocking with me through this May, because May is Lupus Awareness Month, if you aren't aware, you're a real one. Okay, okay, you are a real one. I appreciate you so much. Hey, Jean, what's up, girl? Yeah, so if you are seeing me right now, you are either on my Facebook, on my Instagram, or on my YouTube channel. And otherwise, I don't know where you are, but that's where you should be. Hmm. So quick, pardon me. Quick. What is I have some housekeeping, okay? I'm going to post a poll on my story, I believe, but I want to make sure that you're aware of it before I just post it because it's a big decision to make, right? So, I count these podcasts. I have them up. Um, every episode, I put the episode number, etc. However, I did one other Lupus Awareness Month where I did every day of the month. So it's 31 days in May, and I did a mini podcast every single day. I did not count any of those except for on the Mondays. Just like if you got my email, it will have this past Monday's mini-sode, at the bottom, so you can click it and watch it if you want to catch up on what's going on. Except I have been doing an episode every day, and it is the 12th day, and I haven't counted any of those again. Now, if I were to have counted all of these mini episodes, I would be well over 100 podcast episodes by now. I would have to retroactively go back and, um, you know, be tallying and doing things and relabeling things. However, it might be worth it. Like, or should I just count now? Should I just take, like, I'm saying this is 83. Should I just use the 11 other episodes I've done and add them to the tally and start from here? What do you think? I'm deciding. So that housekeeping. And today's episode is a little different than had been planned, which is fine because I love you and I'm excited to be here in my chair talking to you like I talk to you. But I was thinking, like, even like this is Lupus Awareness Month, and I love to bring light to this disease specifically because I am, a warrior in this realm. However, the things that I talk about are very much just life lessons, very much just ways to be resilient. And resilience is not necessarily just something you have or know you have, because I think we're all born with it. Like the human body wants to survive. The human body is miraculous. It will find a way. Nature will find a way to let you survive if you are meant to survive, right? It's not by chance that you have the fight in you have in you. It's just sometimes you're not aware of the fight that you have in you until something happens to challenge you, to make it so you get to use that fight you have in you, okay? And a lot of us, especially in the chronic illness world, are stuck in between where you you get your diagnosis and you're searching and looking and figuring out a new normal. And mind you, life is always going to change. The only thing that's very, very, very certain in life is everything will always change. You will get into a routine. You will think, wow, this is what my life is like now. And then a big change is going to happen. And it's generally for the better, even if you are not aware that it's for the better. Even if it doesn't feel like it inside that it's for the better, I'm telling you, it's for the better. Imagine if you would have never changed anything, you would still be you wouldn't be walking or talking. You wouldn't be eating solid food. You wouldn't have made any friends. The only people you knew was your parents. Imagine I guess if your body just kept growing because it had to keep growing, but like you just never changed anything. You'd be eating Gerber food. Like change is always for your good, even if you're not aware of it. If you stayed in, if you never got out of elementary school, those big jumps, like jumping from elementary school to middle school to high school, or like, I don't know, if you're in another country, primary school and whatever, like those things feel terrifying at the moment. But imagine if you never changed and you never got past those things. Right now, you're in maybe the middle of this big change, life change, health change. Hey, Mitch, thanks for joining. Just because you're in the middle doesn't mean that it's not going to be good. I just refuse to believe that my life is not going to be good. I just refuse to believe it. And not only good, great, okay? I thought to myself, like, girl, if you refuse to imagine how great everything could be after you get through this trial, like, why are you imagining how bad it can be by worrying about it? Like, that does not make sense logically. Like, I don't enjoy the worry or thinking like, oh, this is hard, and like, how am I going to do this? And if I don't do this, then this, and if I do this, then that. Like, that does not feel good to me. Why not imagine during all the stuff that's happening that already doesn't feel good, things that are forcing me to change and forcing me to grow and giving me an opportunity to find out the fight that I have in me. Why not imagine the very best possible turnout? Like, catastrophizing is just not, it's just not it. Like, it's just not it. There's no reason that you should do it. And it's like human instinct to first, we're scanning for all the bad things because that's how you stay alive, and the human body knows that. But logically, like using our big bad human brains, we know better. You know better. If you can imagine all the horrible things that are going on or could possibly go on, why not switch that and change that time that you're spending worrying and imagine the best thing? And also, do not stop in the middle too. Do not stop. Like, why are we stopping? Butterflies don't stop in the middle of when they make their chrysalis and they're turning into primordial goo and then they're becoming the butterfly. They don't just take a stop to be like, well, I don't know, this is hard. Like, I don't want to. Like, they would never make it. If you are crossing the road and you stop in the middle to be like, oh, this is a long road to cross, you're getting run over. You're getting run over. That's it. Do not stop here. This is not your final form. You are still transforming. You are still growing and blooming and blossoming and becoming that butterfly that is the mascot of lupus. The diagnosis is not the end. The figuring out your new normal is not the end. The end is the end. And if you're praying, if you know the Lord, that is not the end either. Okay. So just keep going. That's what I want to say today. Keep going. Keep thriving, keep striving, make a new plan. These are all just tests. These are all just trials to get you to the next. This is not the end. There's never going to be a time that will be the very end until it's the end. If you are laying in this hospital bed thinking to yourself, well, I guess this is it. It doesn't have to be it. These are choices you get to make. These are just like your wildest imagination is the limit. Everyone thinks that can't be done until it's done. And no one is talking about the middle of the movie. Like when you are watching a movie and they're like, this is the beginning, this happened. And then they just skip all the mundane stuff, all the days and hours and weeks and months and years of growing and learning and how they become this next thing. That stuff is important. That's the stuff you're living right now. Yeah, it's not as exciting as the beginning, like when you decide you're going to do whatever. It's not as exciting as like the victory. It's still important, and it's still, you get to go through it. If you're walking through hell, don't stop there. Keep walking. They just don't talk about it. They don't talk about the millions of doctor's appointments, and they don't talk about the bottles of medication, and they don't talk about the trial and error. They don't talk about the pain in the middle. It's there. And if we're going through it, baby, keep going. Keep going. It's okay. We are all going through some form and configuration of that same thing. People don't talk about it for whatever reason. Like, if you need to wake up every morning and pump yourself up to go out and do the things that you say you want to do, that's what you got to do. And when they write the story of your life, they're not going to include that part. That part is not as spicy. It's not as exciting. It's not, but I know it's there. You know it's there. And here we are in it together. Yeah, Mitch, don't waste your pen. Do not use it as fuel. It can stop you or it can fuel you. And for me, the way my goals are set up, I really don't have time for the stopping. I don't have time. I do not have time. And that is just how it is. Great afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So that was really on my heart this morning. Yes, Mitch, use it to thrive and help others to learn to thrive. Exactly. That's another thing. Like, don't hoard the information, because just because you figure out a way to do it for you, that does not mean that it's going to work exactly the same for someone else. So like, have you ever tried a diet or whatever, and they're like, do this, and I ate exactly like this, and bippity boppity boopity, and then you tried it and you were like, what are they talking about? That did not work. It worked for them because they are in their own specific body. They are living their own specific life. That doesn't mean it's going to work exactly for you. Remember the guy who they said, oh, it's impossible to run a 4-minute mile, right? And then he ran a 4-minute mile. And then that next year, man, people are running that mile. It's that same thing. Like, if maybe you got to do it to show that it's possible, and everybody else can do it in their own way. And they're going to have their own story. And they're going to have their own book and their own movie. And they're going to fast forward the parts of the growth, just like in The Lion King, when baby Simba, and then he's walking on the log, and then all of a sudden he's big adult Simba. Please, no worries for the rest of your days. Yeah, like that. You know? Hey, Renee. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Oh, I've never seen you on my podcast before. I love that. Yeah, it's all of this has just been bubbling because I just have been podcasting so much, and I really, honestly, if I'm being the most honest, I was thinking about giving up here. Like, I was like, you know what? I don't need to do this Lupus Awareness Month. Maybe I'll do next month when I have more time. I'm like, girl, what? Who are you? Like, there's no way. There is no way, because if that little trial is gonna get you off your game, then what? Like, you asked for this. You said, I wanted to do a podcast. I want to teach people how I live with a chronic illness and thrive. And I was gonna let something small like that knock me off? Nah, nah. I rebuke it. Nah, that's crazy. I view it as fuel to catapult, to level you, where you wish to go, probably. Yes, yes, Sonia. Hey, Tony Smith from Washington, D.C. Fancy, fancy man. Real talk. Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate giving up malarkey. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Who did I think I was? Who was that? Who was she? I don't know her. Um, yeah, it is the easier thing to give up. Um, oh, 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 we got people. Uh-oh. All right, y'all. I have a person here that wants to chime in. This person, super inspiring person. I found her on the interwebs, just like randomly. She had a podcast. It was her and another loopy, and they were talking about all kinds of stuff. It was hilarious. And then I realized that the podcast wasn't happening anymore, and I was heartbroken. And I messaged her like, "Hi, let's be friends. You're so cool." And then I just kind of, she's in the background of my life, looking at her social media. And then my friend Carrie, I had Carrie on, legally blind, amazing all the time. And I had him on my podcast. And he got to sing with her at Carnegie freaking Hall. And I was like, oh no, this is crazy. Like, she's the coolest human I've met. Okay. So then I had to message her again. And turns out she acknowledged me. And it's great because she's here now. And her name is Shanelle Gabriel. Hi, are you here? Are you here?
Hi. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. The
Yay.
Hydroxychloroquine's podcast. Me and Ayana Dookie, who's amazing, but she's also super busy. We both are busy, but
Yeah.
so glad that we're able to connect continuously this way. Social media is the bomb.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're here. This is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay. So, um, everyone is saying hello to you in the comments. So I found you just like on the internet. You have like a presence and hilariousness all over the place. So, what is I want to on my caption, I explained that she does everything. She's a poet, she's a singer, she's a writer, she does the things, right? What is your favorite thing? Because I didn't even know when I was writing the bio, I was like, she does everything. So I don't know. What do you say that is your like your thing, your number one thing?
I feel like what it started out as poetry was singing was always my main thing. That's what I started out as. And then it became spoken word poetry. And that's the thing that allowed me to be able to kind of live as an artist for so many years. And even today, I'm back being a full-time creative. That's a big part of all the things I get to do. So it's been poetry, has been my big thing, but a lot of it is just me loving people. I love to connect with different people. That's all it is an extension of conversations that I wish I could have one-on-one. I just get to do it with the audience a lot of the time. So.
That's so cool. You're so cool. Anyhow, so usually on my podcast, I say the first question I have is, who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do? But we got the what do you do part. You do everything. But so the rest of it, who are you and where are you from?
Well, I am Shanelle Gabriel. That is the name I was born with, as well as my creative name. I was not creative in coming up with a poet name or anything like that. I've just been Shanelle Gabriel my whole life. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm first generation American. My family is from the Caribbean. They're from Trinidad and Tobago. I grew up
Ooh.
in Flatbush, Brooklyn,
Hey.
and blup, 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 BK all day. And it means so much to me to be able to. I'm a speaker, I'm a poet. I also do a lot of work in arts and education. That's another area of my background. And I have lupus. I have systemic lupus. I also have lupus antiphospholipid syndrome, which is the clotting factor that comes along with lupus. So I get the fun addition to my medications is blood thinners to make sure that I don't have further blood clots. It actually was when I was a full-time artist out of college, it's actually what pulled me out of being a touring artist. One of the big things that got factored in with some other things, but I got sick while I was on the road with 2 blood clots in my lung while I was
Ugh,
touring in Montana. And so,
yeah.
yeah, everyone says that it was a beautiful, Montana's absolutely gorgeous, but definitely very far from home to be in
Right,
somebody's
right.
hospital. So it made me kind
Um,
of, yeah.
so how did we find this out? What is your like lupus origin story? How did you? I feel like I've seen it on the internet, but tell my people, please.
Yeah, I have a poem called Vanity that talks about like how I was diagnosed, but I can definitely just say it was in college. I was prior to my sophomore year, prior to my junior year, like the sophomore year, I was just in a lot of pain that didn't feel explain. It felt like I could explain it all away, right? I was like, okay, I'm in dance, I'm an actor, I'm in, I'm active on campus. I'm doing so many different things. And so, yeah, if I'm achy, it's because, duh, I'm just dancing, or I'm fatigued because I'm studying and I'm working. Like I can excuse all of my symptoms away. I'm limping to class, but maybe I just did too much, or maybe I pulled something getting out of bed. I'm struggling to get out of bed, but maybe I just need to take a bath, like a soak, I
Yeah.
excused all of those symptoms away for about a year. I had migraines that would wake me up out of my sleep. My on-campus doctor said, "Oh, it's probably just a sinus infection. Here's some Sudafed." So that explained that away. It wasn't until I lost my hair and I had no explanation for that. I
Right.
was like, I gotta go to a doctor. And when I went to the doctor, I didn't tell him any of the symptoms because they seemed so distant. I was like, fix my hair and then I'll tell you the other things you could fix after.
That's funny.
And I always say that's why the title of that poem is called Vanity, because it was like, I can't be my hair gotta be cute. You gotta figure this out. Don't worry about the pain I'm in. Fix my hair.
That's hilarious. You're like, you know what? My whole body's falling apart. I feel like crap. However, my hair though, let's fix this. Thank you.
Period.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that you admit that because honestly, like it's all fun and games until I can't look cute. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you got diagnosed with the lipid situation. How do you want to say
Mhm.
it?
Lupus
Phosphate.
antiphospholipid syndrome.
Phosphate.
Yeah, it's extra,
I don't
some
know.
more lupus jargon.
Yeah, I don't know why they've never diagnosed me with that because I've literally had like 4 major blood clots and like no one said anything. And they were like, "You're gonna be on blood thinners for the rest of your life." And I was like, "Okay," but they've never formally diagnosed me with anything. They're just like, "Yeah, this happens to you. That's what happened." Like,
That's probably what it is. That's probably all it is. It's
mm-hmm,
just they didn't name the name. Like it's not, and this is something on the webinar you mentioned that I have called Better Together. We had a patient advocate come on and speak about this. They were like, a lot of times if you look in our medical charts, they don't list everything that we deal with. They just go lupus and they don't lupus and
mm-hmm,
they don't go lupus antiphospholipid syndrome, which is why she's on blood thinners. You
right,
know,
right,
PCOS, but they don't list the fibroids, like whatever the
right.
situation is, right? So it does make it feel like, do I have this thing? Do I not? Is this just lupus or is this something that, having lupus, I wasn't even aware of it until it happened, that was something that could happen, And so
Right.
I always say not to make anybody a hypochondriac out there, but sometimes these are the other things that they don't talk about that lupus can cause. That's important, And so,
Yeah,
it's
but
just interesting. Yeah.
I think about that like no matter how I pass away, it's gonna say from lupus. Do you know what I mean? Because all the
Mm.
things are lupus things. They just don't, like you said, they don't list it. They don't explain like this is a lupus thing, this is a lupus thing, whatever. They're like, oh, she had lupus, so obviously she's falling apart.
Well, no, absolutely. It's actually when people pass away, it's actually the opposite. It's kind of the same thing that they do with AIDS. You died of pneumonia, not HIV. You died of, and that's
Oh,
one of the reasons, or you died of a blood clot, not necessarily the blood clot because the lupus caused that. So I do wonder how many more people are dying or are passing, and not to make us all morbid about it, but it's just one of those things where people don't measure impact until they measure deaths. A lot of times, like we don't. Sometimes it's like, oh wow, this thing is really hurting people. It's like, no, these are things that are hospitalizing people. It's not just lupus, or it's not just a blood clot. It's related to my lupus. And
Mhm.
that shows also when we're talking about lupus for Lupus Awareness Month, whoop, whoop, it's just how severe it is, how much lupus can impact people, and also that we still manage to live full, amazing lives. But these are the things that we're dealing with on a regular basis that people need to be aware of when interacting with us, when we're working places, when we're engaging with in relationship with others, whether it's dating or friends. Yeah, we look good, but these are the things that we have to navigate and deal with as well, that I think is super important and don't get talked about, because we don't talk about these things as related to having lupus. You got lupus, you're just tired. That's the thing that people like think about, you
Oh my
know.
gosh. Yeah, my friend thought it was a rash. Like, bless her. I love her very much. She's like, "Oh, I didn't before I met you. I thought lupus was a rash." And I was like, "Oh wow, like that's interesting." But like, it is super interesting to meet new people and doing awesome things. Like, you were on Carnegie Hall the other day, and you just packed your lupus in a backpack and just like people don't get that we're still doing amazing things whilst lupus is like actively working. So, how did you get into like advocacy? Well, I've heard all these things, so I forget that these people don't know you. But like when you first got diagnosed and that kind of stuff, and you were in college and that kind of like, had you heard about lupus? Did you know anything about like what could happen? Like, how did your family kind of react? You're a baby, you're in college, so how did they deal with that?
Well, no, when I got lupus, I didn't know anyone other than Mercedes from Next Top Model who had it. And for that, the same thing. All I knew is she was tired all the time. I didn't know, I didn't watch the whole season. So I just knew she was tired, and just kept
Mm.
explaining it away. And everyone was like, "You're just lazy." And like,
Oh,
that was all I knew.
yeah.
And Jay Dilla, the producer, the hip hop producer, passed away from it. But he had like, I knew that he had something with his kidneys. So I was like, okay, my kidneys are fine. So, but that was all I had. I looked in the Encyclopedia Britannica, because the World Wide Web was just being developed back then, which makes me feel old.
Oh no.
But but Britannica was like, you have a life expectancy of 40 years. And I was like, okay, this is old. Let me not even look at that.
Right.
But no, I didn't have any context of it. I came from a family who was not, like, no one in my family had any real chronic illnesses. So this was left field. My family thought I was just tired, and they said the same thing. You just do too much. You just need to relax. And that
Mhm.
was part of what was told to me. And so yeah, when I am interacting with people, and seeming like I'm fine, like I'm trying to keep that whole farce up, because I don't want people to think I'm really sick. I don't want
Yeah.
people to treat me like an invalid. So at first I didn't talk about having lupus. When I did, I remember my friends being like, "Oh my gosh, it's 7 o'clock. Oh, you ready to go to bed? You need to go home." And I'm like,
Oh
okay, now
my
y'all gonna
god.
treat
Yeah.
me
No, thank
like.
you.
So I kept it to myself a lot. Honestly, the thing that made me start speaking about it is, I I wrote that poem Vanity that I mentioned before. And at that point in time, I was already starting to perform. I by then had kind of realized, graduating college, I did 4 years in communication arts to become a poet. That's what I decided I was going to do. I was like, I'm going to be an artist somehow, some way. To my family's non-excitement, Caribbean parents, yeah, they're not hearing you about to be an artist after going to college, but but for me, I wrote that poem, and then it just happened to perform it because I had a little extra time at a show. I was featuring at the New York Poets Cafe in New
Oh, I
York.
love the New York weekend. Why have
Yeah.
we never met? This is madness. Okay, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we should have met. I was on the slam team for them in 2006. And I was featuring there, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll do this poem about my diagnosis with lupus. And then people came up to me afterwards and were like, "Oh my God, I don't know anybody else that has lupus. I have it, or my aunt has it, or my mom had it." Like, people were coming up to me, and I was like, wow, maybe I should be talking a little bit more about the fact that I have this. I
Mhm.
didn't know anybody else with lupus. And I can imagine, while I'm a person that's used to just kind of, running my own thing or dealing with things on my own, somebody else might want to know that there's people that have it. So let me start talking about it. And then I do that poem a lot more. And then somebody said, hey, the Alliance for Lupus Research has a walk, which is, I think their old name. You should come to the walk and perform that poem. And I was like, sure. And that's the beginning of me starting to say, hey, how do I start speaking more about lupus and really explaining what it is, and also making sure I support others that have it. And so I connected with the LFA, the Lupus Foundation of America, just all of anybody that does work with lupus. I'm like, hey, how can I help? And that was the beginning of me finding out. I try to be. I like, why not? You know,
I love it.
It's so helpful.
Such an island thing to be like, oh, you need to go rest. Like, just go lay down. Just drink some tea. Like,
drink some tea. I was just about to say that. Drink some tea, some bush tea, some tea.
Yes, yes. My mother's Jamaican, and that's how in the beginning, especially like my cousins and stuff, that they just like did not get it at all. And it's like not super easy to explain because we look like this, like, you know, you're looking beautiful and shining and all that, and like then they're like, so you just want to lay down? Like, what do you mean? Like that. So it's great to have other people doing it. And I wanted to say that it is a calling. It is a calling because there ain't no way that I wanted to talk about this. Okay. I was like, I know I do other things. I used to think I do things. I could talk about something else. And it just kept coming down to like, people need you. Like, this is a needed thing. And like, especially a otherwise very talented Black woman. Like it's so needed. Like something about being successful in spite of, somebody commented this. Somebody commented, living life despite of is just so important to see. It's so much more important to see than both of us could even ever really realize. Because I remember laying in hospital beds for months, and there's just not anyone who's going through the same type of thing I was going through that I could look at on YouTube or on Facebook or somewhere that I could like just tune in and be like, well, look, they had something similar and they made it through, right? And even like back in those days, they didn't have like Tony Braxton wasn't super vocal. Nick Cannon didn't know anything about whatever he was going through. And we just keep pushing through, thinking like, we're fine. We're going to be whatever. It's fine. And then when you get the diagnosis, you're still looking around like, so now what happens now? So you are a blessing. And I'm so grateful that you wrote that poem and shared, because that poem could have just never made it out of your notes and we wouldn't be here. So thank you for doing all that you do. So what is your plan now? Like, you are helping with every lupus thing that has ever existed, because I literally see you all over the place. But what do you like hope for in this next couple of years with your advocacy?
Well, for me, I just hope to be able to keep talking. A big part of my advocacy is not just lupus, but also clinical trials. And I think about that because the medication that best helped me, starting a number of years ago, it came about, I was on the clinical trial for it. And so what I'm so excited about for me, and this is like I said, don't nobody pay me to say this. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Because I know we have just a mixed history around these things when it comes to people as Black people, minority, ethnically diverse people, populations. There's a mixed history, but a big part of what I'm excited about is I remember when I was diagnosed with lupus, there was no treatment for lupus. It was like, here are these drugs. Here's an anti-malarial. Here's this drug for people who don't want to reject a kidney transplant. Here's this chemo drug. Like that's all that was there for us. And what was so exciting to me was just, what's exciting to me now is so many people are working on treatments for lupus, and also recognizing, sorry, I got to plug my computer in, it's going to die. So what's so exciting for me is just that there's like all of this renewed interest in it. Granted, I think it's because so many people are getting diagnosed with lupus now and autoimmune diseases in general. So for me, it's been about a mix of just like making sure that people that are diagnosed with lupus can know that they can live a full, happy, purpose-filled life with
Mhm.
lupus, but also that that there is a world where we can have options, we can have a cure, we can have lupus and it be like, oh, it's raining,
Easy.
my arthritis is my knee acting up a little bit, and that be it, as
Yeah.
opposed to the way that we can get wiped out and or like really like our life can feel so disrupted by it. And so that's something that for me I'm very excited about, and I try to speak more about because and I get to meet the researchers. That's one of the beautiful things about the work that I do. I get to meet the people that's working on this that are just like excited to like find a way for people to like live a full life. And so I do encourage clinical trials. I also encourage people to just if lupus takes you out of the thing that you're most passionate about, it did me for a number of years. You'll be so surprised how you'll find your passion somewhere else. And that's where I got into education, and I absolutely love the years that I had working in schools, and then working in the nonprofit world. Like those are all things that if I did not get sick on the road, I might not have had those experiences, which lend themselves to my ability to work for myself now with all of that experience in education, as well as arts education, as well as being an artist in the same time. Like now that I've gone back to being a creative as I was before lupus kind of put an interruption on it. Um, like now I go into it and I'm way more prepared and feel like I have so much more knowledge. So you'll be so surprised at how your pivot ends up being your purpose.
I literally was just talking about it before you got here. I'm like, all of the things that you think are happening to you are generally happening for you. Like, imagine if you hadn't gotten into all those things and like the way that you speak has improved, like the way you like can relate to people has improved because you've
Mhm,
gone through things and talked to people and done
mhm,
like all the little intricate parts of the journey that no one talks about. They're just like, oh wow, look at Chanel. She's famous and fancy. And like, yeah, but she went through it to get there. Like you really had to have your heart broken by illness and then build yourself back up and then go
mm,
through the lessons to get to the places. Like she was on Carnegie Hall because she did not give up. She's resilient. She's a lupus warrior. She doesn't just sit there and like, I wish this would happen. And like that sucks that this happened. Like she could have gave up at any moment, people. Any moment. She could have been like, well, I'm just gonna lay here. Because no, but she just found a way. You can find a way. The human body's resilient. Be resilient like the human body is meant to be. We are not meant to just wallow in illness or be sad or
mhm.
whatever. Like take you a beat and then get on with the moving. Like get to it. We have all of this in us. And it
Yeah.
just I hope whoever is hearing Chanel's voice, whoever's hearing my voice right now, is remembering that you have this in you to get to the next level. This is not your final form. This is not
Mhm.
either our final form. Like,
Yeah.
I'm certain that we will go on to continue to change the world. And that's that.
Oh, okay, preacher. Preach, preacher. Amen. Amen. No, yeah, that was so important what you just said. I mean, and it's not that we don't have those hard times, I think that that's also important to recognize that you can have hard times and you can take a moment and a breath and a break. And you just can't live in that moment. You can't live in that breath because you got to keep breathing. You need more breaths.
Mhm.
You
Right.
can't just live in that space. And I think that that's the thing that I really want to encourage folk to like understand that it is okay if you got to sit back. I'm just learning. I can't even lie. I'm just learning how to sit back and how to like take a weekend off and not do anything, or at least a little. Like I used to like work 24/7, and that was part of me leaving my last situation and going back into work for myself. A big part of it was like, I was like, I'm not, I don't even take vacations, and that's not a life.
No.
I loved the work I was doing, but when it just wasn't it. sometimes we have to listen, and to those that are, and I always say this also to people that don't have lupus, like the craziest thing to me is the things that make me feel good with lupus are things everybody needs to be able to do.
Yep.
What is
Yep.
was it the ministry, the nap time ministry? What is it? Like we all need a nap.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Yes. We just have like an excuse to take them. Like, no, you're a human being. Your body needs to rest. Like, we're just like plants. You need water, rest, sunlight. Like, you need all the things. All of the things.
And that's the thing we forget.
So, what was it? I had a question. Dang it! It left my brain.
It's okay. Lupus fog.
Yeah, right. Right. But that is a great thing you brought up, that like everyone can use these things. Like, I'm specifically talking to the loopies. I'm specifically talking to the chronically ill. However, we're all humans, human beings, and like, yep, nothing happened. Everything's fine. The taking a break and not overworking yourself. Like, I feel like it's definitely it's as if like you don't want to be left behind, especially when you have a chronic illness, right? Like, you feel like the world is passing by and you're laying here and you don't want whatever. However, what is meant for you is always going to be for you. And it's evident every time that I get knocked down, when I have a major flare up. Whenever I have them, I'm not having any more. I'm knocking on wood. No more. Yes. However, when I've had them in the past, it's taken me like 3 months just to get out of the bed, like out of the hospital. And then the recovery process is like a year of like just getting my bearings to be able to go out into the world to do anything that resembled what I used to do.
Yeah.
However, now I don't waste that time worrying about not being able to get up. I still put out content, like pictures of like, this is what I look like right now. It's pretty terrible. Like,
what are you talking about? You look so cute. I swear to you. I was just thinking, I said, shit, I love you, just look so cute. I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Thank you so much. When I'm not good, I don't let the time pass of me just fretting about it. Like, it's a lesson I'm learning. I know that, even if it's not comfortable in that moment. And like, but I allow it, I allow it now, when before I used to be like, oh, I gotta get better. It's terrible. Like holding on to that is not helping. It's just, it makes a terrible like emotion in my body, and you need all the happy emotions to heal. So, no matter what you're going through right now, like we've been saying this whole time, you're going through it for a reason. And we are grateful that when you come out, you're going to have learned the lesson, and you're going to have done the things that are going to get you to where you need to get to. So let yourself rest. Let you take nap ministry, like you said. I like that. I'm gonna add that to my ministry. Nap ministry. Yeah. I love that. Okay, we have a lot of comments, so I'm going to read some of them before you escape. Okay, believe it. You got this. Keep going. I love this. That's right. Image over illness. I don't know what that means, Mitch, but okay.
Oh, it was when I was saying that there's I had all of these sicknesses, and then it was my hair that I went to the doctor for. So I was saying I was worried about my image over like the rest of me being sick. So yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Somebody else said about the hair. The crown is important to the queen. Thank God for its multiple forms and dynamic creative hues. Yes, yes, we got all the hairs, all of them. Miss Shanelle, Gabriel.
Yep, Shanelle Gabriel.
Continue to poetically prick the hearts of suffering loopies and others through your positivity and life possibilities. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Yes. Love this insightful podcast.
Yeah, you're great.
Let's see what else.
You're great. You see that Mitch Race podcast, the Mitch Race podcast he wrote, there's a mixed history of medical misunderstandings and misinformation, which our culture still embraces. You both are a big part of changing this. Thank you. No, definitely. That's a big part of it. Like, that clinical trials part is so, I know it's spooky because of all of the things that our people have gone through, and it'd be crazy. And I tell everybody, the first thing I said when my doctor tried to ask me to be in clinical trial, I said, hell no. I tell everybody, I said, hell no first. I was like, y'all not gonna make me no lab rat. I said this to my rheumatologist. But then I also had to recognize, one, I was getting sicker and nothing was working. And also I'm like, so do I have to wait till I get really, really sick to try to do something that could help me? Or do I try to do the thing that could help me? Because, even like Tylenol was on clinical trials, had a clinical trial for it. Like we wouldn't have Tylenol if no one tried it. So I was like, okay, maybe I should give it a try. And then you learn more about like the things that were put in place, the safety things. Like they can't, literally medication cannot get passed and approved with the FDA if they don't follow every single rule to a T. Like there's a reason why we don't have a lot of medication, because there's just really stringent rules around what has to be done in order for a medication or treatment to get passed, right? So like learning all about all of those things and all of the structures put in place and all of the review boards and things that make sure a clinical trial is running safely, that the people are informed. It's like they have to promise to us to let us know all of those things are what made me actually change my mind. And then, yeah, like I'm very proud that there's a medication out there that people are taking now that I helped bring to market, that I helped say that it worked well for me. I was in a clinical trial and I was doing so well on it during the clinical trial. And I was like, man, now it's over. I got to wait for the FDA to say it's approved. Like,
oh no, I didn't realize that. That's
yeah,
nice.
you don't get to stay on it. It's like you get to try it out. You're on the trial, and then there's like, okay, thank you. They have to look at all the data after the trial's over,
Oh my
which is
goodness, that's
another
a
thing about. It's a very much a tease, but I understand it. Like we want to make sure that like, okay, was it safe for everybody? What were the things that did work, what wasn't working? And they can't do that while they're still tracking you. But it does. But as soon as it became available, I was the one who reached out. Yeah, doc, it's here. It's here. Get me on it. Get me back on it. Come on. And so having that experience is the thing that makes me, speak about it. Like I said, I firmly, this is just me. I still try to get in clinical trials. For some reason, they don't always pick me because I'm always
like, thank you for your
no. But I say it to say, there's no treatments for skin lupus, for discoid lupus, and there's nothing. They're the same thing. They have the same thing probably we had for systemic. Like there's nothing specific for them. And so, yeah, it's really important. And if we're not in it, we don't know how it works in us, and we might be missing an opportunity to help, get some good treatment while we're trying to find this. And also, if you don't like a clinical trial, this is the other part of it they don't talk about. If for some reason you don't want to be a part of it, you can wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. You can leave, and that's it. So that's what I mean. So I can wax and wane about it just because I think it's something that's really important right now, especially as funding and things are getting cut and things like that. Just want to make sure that the research still happens.
It's crazy. I mean, really, honestly, thank you for your service, because that's terrifying. Because like you didn't know what could happen. You could have had the worst reaction ever, and you just went in it like for the people. So we love that.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was at my sickest, my like most major, like I'm in medical journals for this flare. They used something that hadn't been cleared yet on me, and I like signed away my life. I don't know. I was sick. I don't know what happened, but I said yes that I would try, and it worked, and I got out of that situation. I was in the ICU at that time, so that's why it's like documented, very well documented. So like as much, I'm not a medication girly. Like I do my best to not be on it at all.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, I do all the bush teas and I make my own turmeric capsules. Like I am very no thank you to the medication. However, I understand that that's not possible for everyone, and it is so necessary for the people who are already in it. Like right now, I'm doing okay to the like that I can help myself. When I'm at my worst, there ain't no helping. Like I can't make my own anything. I'm laying in the bed. So these medications are very important. And like she said, I'll put all the links that I can get from all of her stuff that have, clinical trial like applications and the ways you can get started, explaining how it works, because I know that she knows. I don't know, but she knows.
Oh,
So,
clinicaltrials.gov. So you don't even have to it's like one space that has a list of all of these different types of clinical trials. Like the government has a website that just lists everything. And then there's Biogen Trial Link, which is a specific one with Biogen that I know that's one of the ones that are working on the skin lupus as well. So there's that's a .gov, which means it's it's official. Other companies submit to make that. Put that there, so it's like a nice place for everybody to be able to look and learn more about that, all of the stuff that I talked about. Do your own research, because I'm definitely a bush tea girly as well. Like, don't get it twisted, I'm just and because the goal is, if I get well enough, I wean off of all of this. That's the goal. And so, no, you don't want to have to be on drugs for the rest of your life. So definitely the and is important, whether you're trying to get off or not. And even if you are somebody out there that's like, hey, I just don't want to take my medication, just let your doctor know. Like, really, really be honest and still follow up all your blood work like you are. Like, don't do I'm going to just ignore Western medicine completely. Because like you said, Tenille, when something go wrong, I'm going to have to go right back to that Western medicine hospital and figure it out. So like, just making sure that if you do decide to do this, you let your doctor know. Be adamant. The doctor might not agree or whatever, but say, hey, I would like to at least still follow up with you. And if something goes wrong, we'll figure out what the plan of action is there. But it's my body, and this is what I want to do. But like I said, there's those of us that I can't say, I'm not going to say no to my medication, but I believe in it. And like, I'm still eating well. I'm still taking care of myself. I'm still working out or just moving. Sometimes I can't work out, and it's just a couple stretches, because stiff joints make achy joints. So, but like, just being mobile feels counterintuitive when you're not feeling well. But even if it's just me stretching sometimes, and that's it. So, but yeah.
Thank you so much. You heard the woman. These are the sites. I'll add them to the descriptions. So is there, Dan, I could talk forever, because honestly, this is, you hit all the points. Like, do all the things like she said. Make sure you definitely keep in the loop with your doctor. Just because I don't take medication, people know about me. Because if something goes wrong, they need to know what was going on. Yes, clinical trials in our population is needed badly. Thanks for the plug. My sis is benefiting from one now. Amazing, Karen. I love that. So if you had to leave my audience with one thing, what would you leave them with?
I would say just like, give yourself the space to discover where you're supposed to be. I think sometimes the hardest thing about lupus is it makes us have to let go of, we feel like it makes us let go of ourself, like whatever our self was before, even what our self is now. Like, the natural process of humanity is change. And unfortunately, we change very drastically a lot of times, but let our stories, I think, keep writing that story and keep letting it unfold.
Yeah. Yes. All the poetry, all of it. Thank you, girl. This is incredible, and I'm so grateful that you decided to stop by this podcast today. Like, everything is so in alignment. I was talking about this stuff before you got on, and you just continued and improved and made it just perfect. Thank you so much. And y'all, follow her social media. It's all in the descriptions, and it should be in. She's tagged and everything. She's a collaborator. It'll be on her page too. Follow her. Support the artists. Support all the foundations and the research and all those things. Like, it's important. It's so important. We're not just saying it to say it. Like, these are people's lives in the balance, and we need this research, and we need this activism. We need you. So thank you so much for being here. Have an incredible day. Love it here. Bye. Stay happily healed.
Bye.